Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to work on these future Mame Premna. And these are potted using the technique that I like to use to keep very small trees. Number one, from drying out too much, and number two, from falling over. Because obviously I like to let them overgrow and then cut them back, and that's how you get your movement and your taper. These are Premna, and they're in the little drink cups that I've cut down. A couple of them are in old applesauce containers, this guy here, and you can see they've grown quite a bit more. The trunks on those guys are much thicker. But if we look, they all have some interesting movement. They still need some work, but the potential in here for some really cool little trees is pretty good. And today, all I'm really going to do is cut them back. But I'm not going to do a quickie, just chop, 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 chop. I'm going to do some of that, and then I'm going to try to work some of these trees. So like this guy here has got all this crazy growth, and then there's this branch here, which probably doesn't need to be there because I have the first main branch. So instead of just chopping it randomly, I'm going to attempt to create a little bit more style, even though they're still young and still need some development. And for that I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and then get to work. And I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to actually see this, but so the first order of business is just get off all the really leggy growth. And I grow my pre-bonsai pretty much all the same, doesn't matter what species it is. Let them grow rampantly and then cut them back. And then let them grow rampantly and cut that back. And sometimes I only save about 10% or even less of the growth that I've allowed to elongate. And that's what gives you your taper and your movement, is a continuum of allowing rampant growth and then cutting them back. So here's a guy that's really super straight, doesn't have much motion, doesn't really have much branching, but it still has some potential, and I'm just going to chop him like to there, just so now he's just a little stump, like my friend who is pretty new. When she watches me do this to trees, she calls it mutilation. And as a beginner, it can be daunting to say, why is he chopping these guys so hard like that? But this is, if you notice, you'll see there's all kind of scars from other chops that I've done on these guys. There's usually multiple instances of cutting back the trunk before I begin to say, okay, this tree is nice enough to put into a bonsai pot and start really working it. So, see, this guy here, probably need to turn him like that, but see, he's got a very interesting little movement. You don't need that little stump there. And the front of these trees is by far yet to be determined. There's really no way of telling what the front is on these guys. And I think I'm going to spin it around. And there's a space right here, and you actually, that I already took a plant out of there and turned it into a bonsai. And it was actually part of a raffle. So I don't have it to show you, because the person that won it has it at their house. And I'm kind of like, my philosophy on doing this, because I'm really not scrutinizing what I'm doing, is that you can't make a mistake. Just do it. Get some trees and start cutting them back and watch what happens. If you live in a tropical area or if you have good winter protection, Premna make fantastic bonsai. They make fantastic large bonsai, and they also make very nice small trees. It is interesting how the ones in the applesauce containers grew much larger. Well, not interesting, it's pretty much expected. More roots, even though, you know, quote unquote, the roots are able to move out into the bottom soil. We got a little bit of weeds, oxalis. Oh man, that stuff is everywhere. So let's see where we're at here. I think that looks pretty good. We still need some. So let's check out this guy here. Kind of swoops up and then swoops around. It's probably a little bit too long, but it's kind of neat. Then we got this guy here. This one here has some interesting movement. Now this guy here, you notice he's got two bar branches, but they're way down low, so they're probably both sacrifice branches. And it's the last day of April, so we're coming up on summer very quickly. And Premna are a tropical tree that love heat, humidity, rainfall. So they're gonna do quite well here. So that's about it. Not really creating perfect trees, but definitely getting them ready for their final styling before they go into a bonsai pot. And there's probably more work that needs to be done. At this point, try not to dwell too much on exactly where I'm going to go with the tree. Just kind of let it respond to the cutback. Some of them are thinner, some of them are thicker, some of them have nicer movement, some of them are, and I've sort of gotten on the kick where I've talked about if you grow a numerous trees, then you're going to have some trees that are A quality, some trees that are B quality, and so on, C quality. And I don't want to call trees D quality. I like to call them ugly ducklings. And the story of the ugly duckling is that everyone said, man, that is an ugly duck, but then it turned into a beautiful swan. So just because a tree right now doesn't quite look quite right doesn't mean that it can't make a nice tree in the future. There we go. And I'm going to give these guys at least another grow out, so they'll just pop back out, let them do whatever they want. And then there's probably some of them in here that after that they're going to be ready to be styled and put into pots. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, and then when I post the next video concerning these trees, you'll be able to read the description and check it out to see how they're doing. And leave a comment if you'd like. And I've decided to change my name to Woodcrest Bonsai, just to be a little more distinctive. There's another Alan that does bonsai, and because he's so well established, when you search for me, you invariably get him. So I'm going to try to distinguish myself. And Woodcrest was the neighborhood where I grew up as a kid. So tomorrow I turn to woodcrest bonsai. So until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.